Hello everyone, it's Chef K here. We're gonna do some homemade flour tortillas today, and we're gonna do some quesadillas with them after we're done. I had some leftover turkey that turkey season. We just had Thanksgiving, so I've been using turkey for the last couple of days, using leftovers. We made a couple meals, and here's like not really a meal, more like a snack, but I guess people could make it a meal. Anyway, so flour tortillas. Very easy to make, like three ingredients, 4 ingredients. It's basically just flour, salt, and some baking powder, a little oil, and water. So we're gonna get to it and get going because we want to at least get these going so we can start making them. That's the hardest part, probably, is making these. So we're gonna start out with a cup of a cup of flour. I didn't realize that was still in there. Okay, so we got a cup of flour. And we'll level that off. And then we're going to do a half cup of flour. And again, level that off. And then it's just a half a teaspoon of salt. What is going on with this salt? Oh, it's leaking out of the bottom more than it's leaking out of the spout. So, a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to do a half a teaspoon of baking powder also. So, half a teaspoon of baking powder. And we'll just level that off. And that goes in. So that's it with the dry ingredients. And all you need to do is put this in a mixing bowl. And we're going to get our mixing bowl here. We're just going to put all the dry ingredients in. And then we're gonna mix it. Now, question is, I have 3 attachments. Let's see if you guys know which one we'd be using. So we're making a flour tortilla. All right, so you think we'd use a whisk, a paddle beater, or a dough hook? Let's see, I think this is gonna be kind of like a dough. So I'm gonna give it away, and we are gonna use a dough hook for this. So these 2 attachments we're not going to use. We're going to put them away. We're going to set up our dough hook attachment. And then we're just going to start mixing this together. And it's just going to get mixed, the dry ingredients. The next step is we're going to get water ready. So it's a half cup of warm water. I already got the water warm, so I did that before I started. So we're going to do a half cup of warm water. And we can actually, I'm going to dump that in. And then it's 2.5 ounces of oil. So the oil, the 2 is here and the 3 is here. So we're just going to go in the middle of this. So it's going to be 2.5. That's all we need of that. So it's 2.5. So we got to make sure we don't go, we just go a little bit above the 2. Now, of course, if I had a smaller liquid measure, it'd be easier. I don't have a small, this is the only one I have, is this bigger one. So it's kind of hard to measure small amounts in this. I know at school we have just a regular cup measure, which is a lot easier than this 2-cup measure. But we have that. And we're going to add this. And then we need one more tool, and you guys hopefully all know this is your rubber scraper. So what I'm going to do is stop, and I'm going to scrape this down. The only thing with the dough hook, sometimes it's hard to get everything incorporated in here. And I got a feeling I might have messed this recipe up. cat got in the way, which usually happens with us. The cat is always in the way. But I think what I did is I transferred this recipe in half, and what I might have did was actually add, maybe forget to divide everything in half. So I'm gonna have to rig this a little bit. I'm gonna have to add more flour because it definitely looks, there's too much moisture in here. So, or else I messed up on the flour, but it's definitely too moist. It's gotta be like dry, like a dough. So I'm gonna have to add more flour. So this is almost another cup. So I guess I gotta tweak this recipe. But like I said, it was a double recipe, and maybe my conversions aren't too good here. Usually you just divide everything in half and just use about half the amount. You can see it still looks to me too moist yet. So we're gonna have to add more flour to this. And you can see it's forming more into a dough now. But even now, I'm not sure if I need to add a little bit more. It's pretty close. What we'll do is we'll just scrape it off. Well, didn't have to scrape it off. It's gonna have a little bit more to it. And hopefully this will do it. So we added at least another cup of flour to this. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the original recipe and see where I messed this up. Feels pretty good. So what I think I'm going to do is just knead it on a table a little bit. Take it out of here and put a little bit more flour, knead it just a little bit. You're really supposed to let it rest too, but I don't know if I'm going to let it rest too much because I want to get this going. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more flour out here. Put this off to the side. And we're just going to put a little dusting on there and just knead it a little bit. And get this dough. Incorporate a little bit more. Yeah, because this is looking more like the original recipe. When I made it, I wanted it less dough, so it wouldn't come out to like making about 10 of them. I wanted to only make a couple of them and see how much the dough, how big the dough is. So I guarantee I've maybe divided the dry ingredients, but I don't think I divided the liquid ingredients correctly. Because I pretty much had to double up what I already added to that I took out. So. All right, so this feels pretty good. Like I said, you're supposed to let it rest a little bit, but I'm not gonna spend too much time with that. So now you're supposed to just cut it into pretty much equal parts, best you can, and just roll these out. Actually, I still think they're too big because you're gonna roll these out kind of thin. There goes the cans. We'll work with just 2. I'm not going to do all these for the video, so we'll maybe just work on 2. So we'll take these 2, and again, we're going to take and dust flour out here and get rid of all that stuff. And we'll flour both sides. And what are we going to do now if we need to? I'm going to actually preheat this pan so we can get that going. Now the pan, you could either oil it or spray. I'm just gonna put a little spray since it's more convenient for me. I'm just gonna put some spray on it and get the pan heated up. And then what are we gonna use to roll this out? Anybody remember what our tool is? Our rolling pin. And we're gonna start rolling this out. Remember, when you roll it, you gotta roll it both ways to keep it round. If you roll just one way, it's gonna be oval. And make sure you have enough flour on it. If you see like it starts pulling up on my rolling pin, I know I need more flour. Always enough flour on the bottom too. And I don't want to go too big because I want to get it to fit in the pan. If it goes too big, it's not going to fit in the pan. So you see I have the one. It's a nice size. We're just going to put it in our pan. And like I said, I almost made it too big already. It's almost too big for the pan already. You can see I kind of flipped the edge over because I couldn't fit it in. But we're just going to cook that on both sides just a little bit, not too much, because again, we're going to fill it and then put some ingredients in there, and then we are going to cook it again anyway. So you don't want to overcook it at the beginning because we will cook it again. Again, if you feel it's starting to stick on your table, you have to bring it back up and more flour on it. And I'm gonna come over here and flip the other one over because I can see that's probably getting close. Flip that a little bit. And then we'll roll this one out. Right, so that's a pretty nice size there. It's pretty close to the one we have. You want to try to keep them close to the same size, so when you do them, they don't one overlap the other one. Just gonna get my plate out, so when we're ready, we're gonna put it on the plate. And what I could do is clean this off a little bit. Now let's see. And I think that's good for this one. Then we're gonna get the other one in. Same thing, a little oil in the pan. Heat it up and put this one in. All right. So actually, while I have this, I pretty much can start this going while that other one's cooking. So actually, I was gonna do one more ingredient like I like to do it, but I didn't forgot to bring it, so I'm not going to worry about it. But sometimes I like to put refried beans in mine. So I'll do like a thin layer of refried beans, and then I'll put the cheese over top and the other thing. So I have my cheddar cheese mixture. I think it's cheddar cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. And we're going to do a nice little layer of that. Then we're going to take our chopped up turkey. So I have this already chopped or shredded or whatever you want to call it. I kind of did a little bit of both. And that goes in. And you could put a few hot peppers in there, jalapeno peppers. Give it a little kick. And a few olives I like, the green olives. I put sometimes that in there. Alright, I'm gonna flip this one. That cook a little bit. Then we'll put our top on. We'll put it back in the pan, and we'll cook both sides, brown it a little bit, and then we will show you how it comes out. And we're gonna add a few things on the top to make it look nice and add more flavor to it.